My name is Sharon Ringo Foundation. I'm 12 years old. I study in Rayburn International School in Tanzania, Africana. I'm a trade and tourism ambassador for the East African community. I'm also an ambassador for tourism in the African Tourism Board and an ambassador for tourism in Tanzania. I'm also an ambassador for the rarest gemstone, Tanzanite. I'm a founder for my foundation, Sharon Ringo Foundation. In my foundation, we focus on three main themes: climate action, environmental justice, and sustainable tourism. In my foundation, we have a goal to plant 10 million trees in the next 5 years, and so far we've already planted over 43,000 trees in East Africa, basically in Tanzania, with the support of other organizations. In my foundation, we appoint ambassadors, and one of them is Jin Chen from China. Overall, we've appointed over 44 ambassadors, 16 children and youth ambassadors, and 28 adult ambassadors from America, from Mexico, Spain, from Uganda, Burundi, Rwanda, from Tanzania, and other parts of the world. I'm an author for my book, The Big Five, and two others, The Confidence I Learned from My Dad and My Voice to the World. Those two others are in the process of being published. But once I publish, I'll now start producing them to different places.
Thank you.
I'm Jin Sen Chen. I'm stay for China now, and I have a chance to draw in the Hero Foundation. And I was always interested in climate change, so it's my pleasure to draw this foundation so I can add more to protect the world. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
So right now, me and Jin Chen have some questions. I will start. Number one, every great leader has a role model. Who was a role model of Nyerere, and what traits did he learn from his role model that you see in modern leaders today?
I'm not sure whether Nyerere had a role model because I've never thought about it. I must be frank about it. I've never thought of. I've looked at Nyerere as my role model. And I have not thought of Nyerere looking for a role model. But I think I can say without hesitation, Nyerere's role model was the people. He was a leader of people in his own community, and then in a larger community in Tanzania, helping Tanzania, first Tanganyika, to become independent, then Tanzania through a union between Zanzibar and Tanganyika. He believed in the unity of people and the equality and dignity of people. He always wanted to be a servant of the people, and he believed that he was a servant of the people. And he believed that he drew his leadership and inspiration and encouragement from the people. He counted himself to be part of the people. One with a contribution. 1 plus 1 makes 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 10, and then millions. And this is what he said about his belief about people. I'll say it in Swahili. Binadamu wote ni ndugu zangu. Humanity is one, and all are my brethren, if I can use that expression, my brethren. Ndugu is brothers. When you say it in a different languages, brethren. So that's what Mwalimu believed, was part of a bigger group of human beings, and he took inspiration and he took leadership to mean leadership by the people, and was just one as a contributor. So to the extent that he had a role model, I think people generally, the world over, were his role model. This one. Two, having said that, then maybe he preferred to work with people who shared that vision. A vision of people, leading people, because humanity is one and indivisible. To that extent, he had several friends. In China, Mao Zedong, John Lai. In Africa, Kwame Nkrumah. Haile Selassie in those days. Sekou Touré, Mandela, and several others in North Africa and the world over. He was a historian, and he admired history and he learned from historians. He read Shakespeare, English literature, translated Plato. So you can see the type of man that he was. His model, people, individuals and groups, believing in human equality, human rights for all, opportunities to access resources in order to develop the fullest capacity of human beings. Maybe I can summarize it that way. Thank you.
Yes, in the Butiku, I have been heard about the Mao and Nyerere meet before. So how the Mao and Nyerere meet?
I think they met first in politics, not face to face. Nyerere knew China was there. Nyerere knew the world of human beings. And through reading, he knew Mao and Mao's contribution in leading China and the Chinese people out of a system of exploitation, feudal China, where land and most of property and servitude and slavery existed in China. He knew about it. I have forgotten some of the books he was reading. And then he knew there was a United Nations, a forum for all people to meet, governments to meet and discuss world affairs. China was excluded from being a member of that. And from his belief about humanity is one. All people are human beings. They deserve to be treated with dignity and to be allowed to enjoy their rights. He saw no reason why China should be excluded from membership of the United Nations. And so he worked hard through governments, through his representatives when after Tanganyika had become independent, to get China to be a member of the United Nations. And he succeeded. China was invited to the United Nations as a member. And that was actually the link, the political link. And of course, from that time, after that, Chou Enlai, Mwalimu had gone to China, and Chou Enlai visited Tanzania, and then when Mwalimu went to China, he met Mao Zedong. And myself, I remember, he met him when I was there with him, I think 2 times. Only the 2 of them. And he met Mao after he had a 3 days discussion with Chou Enlai, discussing the world issues and people and politics and economics. And then after that, Chou Enlai would go and report to Mao Zedong the outcome of their discussions, and Mwalimu would go there. And they would discuss whatever they discussed. We were never part of that discussion. It's only the 2 of them. Whenever they met, only 2. I was there, but I never went there. You escort him to the area, but when he meets Mao, they are only 2. And what I remember vividly is about the railway. When they came out, standing outside there on steps, and then went back to the hotel. Mwalimu tells us he was discussing with Mao, and he did ask him about the railway, whether Tanzania and her neighbors needed that railway, which Chou Enlai must have reported to him. And Mwalimu shyly, knowing that China was not very rich at that time, developed, yes, more than Tanzania, but did not have much resources. And so he was a little bit shy to admit to Mao Zedong that we wanted that. So he said, yes, if I had somebody to build that railway, I'll be happy to have it. And then Mao turned to him and said, you got it. That was the beginning of that railway. Simple discussion, a simple, straightforward question. At the end of the discussion, do you need the railway? Mwalimu said, yes, if somebody could help me. Then Mao Zedong say, you have it. And after a short time, experts came from China. And that strengthened that tie between China and Mao Zedong. Mwalimu was an admirer of Mao Zedong. He was a great thinker, a great mobilizer of the people. Down to earth leadership. Was writing and produced so many books, Mao. And Mwalimu read some of those things. And I also have a few. That was the beginning. I've not told you quite whether he met him but I know that politically, about the world it is, China being isolated from the international community, Mwalimu working to get China there, and then from there, visits of the 2, and then in my present, they met twice. That was the beginning.
Thank you.
And Tanzania still has great respect for Mao Zedong, for Chou Enlai, that leadership in the past, and all that they did for Tanzania.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. How has the Swahili language influenced Tanzanian culture and improved tourism industry?
A lot. The influence of Swahili in Tanzania and its contribution to the unity of the country is tremendous. You know, we have in Tanzania about 126 tribes. When I myself went to school in 1947 at the age of 9, I did not know Swahili. I could not speak in Swahili. I just used my local language, vernacular, Kizanaki, which was Mwalimu's also language. And my assistant there, she's a Nyakyusa, that lady from Bear. Also, there were so many clans there. So 126 different tribes, 8 independence. Most of us did not know Swahili. But there was a bit of scattered it here and there. And Mwalimu made a decision, deliberate decision, to make Swahili the language of independent Tanganyika, the national language, independent Tanganyika, and deliberately encouraged it. So when I went to school, my teaching was in Swahili. In primary school, it was all in Swahili. So I learned Swahili in school. Even if you listen to Mwalimu himself, during the early days of politicking in Tanzania, his Swahili was not very good. The accent was tribal, the accent. But then he used Swahili, mobilized it, was taught in schools, it was encouraged. And we all learned Swahili, and it was used deliberately to mobilize people of Tanganyika and later Tanganyika to become one nation. So we have a language now, Swahili. And almost everybody, if you look at the TV, even the oldest people in remote villages in Tanzania, they know Swahili. They use Swahili. It may not be necessarily academic Swahili. It is colloquial Swahili, but it is Swahili. People can use it to discuss issues. And we are so happy it is like that now. It's a national language supported by English. But we are so happy now, Swahili is now Africa's also language. It has been adopted. And the AU is Africa's language. And it is slowly spreading. I'm sure we can use it, we use it in Tanganyika to create greater unity and understanding between the people of our continent in Africa.
So how is Julius Nyerere remembered and celebrated in modern-day Tanzania? And are his principles contributing to shaping current Africa leadership and economic?
Yes and no. Yes, because the principles which he believed in are universal. They are about people. So I don't deny myself as a human being, and you don't deny yourself as a human being. So when Nyerere says, all people are human and therefore equal in their humanity, you can't say no. You can't say no, I'm an animal or a sheep or a goat, or no. You accept that you're human. And when Nyerere says, because of their equality in humanity, they deserve human rights, all of them. You cannot say no, you agree, it's universal. And when you say they need to develop, to change from where they are, to improve their quality of life, from say using primitive tools in agriculture or in some other places, and that's technology, and that's development, you say yes, you want to develop. So what are the principles? Human equality, human rights for all, the right to access to resources in order to develop, and the right to so many things, education, good health, and freedom, after all, the right to freedom, that you are born free to think freely, to discuss with the others, to be part of society. That's what Nyerere believed in. And those principles are universal. You will find them in the United Nations General Assembly. That's what they use. AU. Our own countries here, almost every country in the world, including China. We do everything in the name and on behalf of people. That's the principle. That's easily said. When it comes to implementation, living according to those principles, it becomes a little bit difficult. Human rights. Sometimes we quarrel about. We all deserve freedom, but in societies, when we organize, freedom to speak, to discuss, to share, sometimes there are limitations according to constitutions, human laws, depending upon the leaders who are leading in society. So implementation becomes a little bit difficult. And so when we talk of democracy, for example, to be free as part of society and to exercise freedom and sharing, being part of humanity, that becomes a little bit difficult. So I can say the principles are universal. They are shared by all of us in the world. Even in countries they call dictators and so on. For example, these people say there is no freedom, there is no democracy in China. It's not true. It's not true. I've been there. I think China is one that has a different system of governance. They practice their democracy with Chinese characteristics. Socialism with Chinese characteristics. To me, they are very free. You can see they are happy. They are not just talking. They are developing in very many sectors. So they came from bottom, from oppression, ages, to second level. They are the second in the world in terms of wealth, in terms of influence and so on, very many things. So they've exercised their freedom. So that's what Nyerere believed in, and that's what he admired about China. They are frugal. They want to talk about development. They work for unity. At first there was one party, Tanzania was one party, and then it went to two. Okay, it's democracy, multi-party democracy. China has, they say, mono-party democracy, but China says they have 8 other parties. So these principles depends upon how you practice them. But I share with you, they are universal. They are for all of us. Why? Because we are human beings, equal in our humanity, deserve human rights for all, and opportunities for development and happiness.